All right, the last movie we watched that we're going to review tonight is Appaloosa, which is I didn't even get the year on Appaloosa. It's like late 2000s, I think,
Yeah.
and it is a western. And we were talking like I don't know how we got on Viggo Mortensen, but we talked about Viggo. I was like, oh, have you ever seen Appaloosa? We were talking about westerns. Have you ever seen Appaloosa? And you thought you hadn't seen it, but then when we were watching it, you thought maybe you had seen it. But Appaloosa is a western starring Ed Harris, Viggo Mortensen, Renee Zellweger, and Jeremy Irons, along with a number of other actors you're going to recognize. Timothy Spall's in it.
Older Viggo.
Oh, it is, yeah, older Viggo, the actor who has been in a ton of stuff whose name I'll never know.
He looks like Viggo Mortensen now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So Appaloosa, it kind of follows a standard western plot, to be honest. Viggo Mortensen and Ed Harris are a duo of kind of western gunslingers who are hired by this town. Appaloosa is the name of the town, to come in and be their marshal, because their marshal has been murdered by a man named Bragg, or supposedly by a man named Bragg, played by Jeremy Irons. So they come in, they take the marshal positions, and their job is to take out Bragg. So they come in, they immediately essentially get in a fight with some of the gang of Jeremy Irons' gang, and they kill a couple of them, if I remember correctly, right? At the first time. They kill a couple of the gang, and that brings like the rest of the gang into town, and they're like, hey, this is a no-gun town now. You're not going to have guns in town. And if you do, we're going to arrest you.
Basically the same story as Tombstone.
It's a very similar story.
Yeah,
very similar. It's a very similar story to a number of westerns.
Yeah.
They come out over time. Oh, good night, Xbox. So Ed Harris and Viggo Mortensen are in the town, and Renee Zellweger comes in on the train, and immediately they're both kind of enamored with her. Ultimately, Ed Harris's character and Renee Zellweger form a relationship in which they are together, and in the meantime, they're trying to figure out how to take down Briggs and arrest him for the murder of the previous marshal of the town. Ultimately, a kid comes into town. He's probably like late teens, early 20s. And he's like, I will testify against Briggs.
Justin Long.
Looks like,
Ish.
Ish, for sure. He's like, I'm going to testify against him. He killed the marshal and his two deputies. I saw it. And they're like, oh, you'll testify to this? And he's like, yeah. So they go out and arrest Briggs. They catch him in the outhouse. And they get him, and they take him back to town and put him in jail. They have to hold him at like gunpoint to get out of the area because his whole gang comes up and they're like, oh, we'll kill him, if you, I'm not afraid to die, it's a good day to die.
Yeah, good day to die. I'm not afraid to die.
So they take him in, they put him in jail. His gang comes into town, and basically Virgil goes out and is like, we've got a gun on him. Everett holds a gun on him, and he's like, we'll kill him, but, I'm not afraid to die. Are you? He's in Briggs' main guy, the Russian-looking guy, old Viggo Mortensen,
Viggo Senior,
as you like to call him.
Yeah.
Basically says, are you, do you want to die? And he's like, I'm not afraid of dying, but I'm going to take you out first.
Yeah,
and I'm going to take this guy in the red bandana over here next.
This guy over here.
And that guy in the red bandana was like, okay. So they shut that down. They leave. The judge comes into town. The kid testifies. One of my favorite scenes in the movie is after the kid testifies, Jeremy Irons wants to testify on his own behalf, and the judge looks at the kid and goes, hey, do you have a horse? And the kid's like, yeah, I have a horse. And he's like, I suggest, while all of them are here, that you go get on your horse and you ride and you don't stop riding. Right, the kid leaves and leaves town.
That is the best.
It's just so good. The judge is perfect. The judge finds him guilty, sentences him to essentially to death, I guess, by hanging. And a couple of other marshals come in to help transport him to, I guess, the capital or whatever of this town. They're going by train. And so they get on the train.
Who's the other marshals?
Yeah, I don't know. Recognizable guy.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I'm good at actors' names, but I don't know his name.
No, the actor that Stone Cold.
Oh, yeah, Lance Henriksen. Yeah, he comes into town to help.
Yeah, to help.
Yeah, he's like kind of a seedy character that comes into town, him and his buddy. And Virgil knows him, and Virgil's like, yeah, we'll you guys can help us. And and they come into town. So once they get on the train, Virgil's not. Virgil's there, Emmett's there, and these two other marshals that had come into town to transport. Hendrickson's not with them, and Hendrickson essentially double crosses them, kidnaps Renee Zellweger to get Jeremy Irons out of this. Virgil lets Jeremy Irons go because of Zellweger. They take Zellweger and run off, and Zellweger is kind of an interesting character in this because she kind of just goes along with whatever man's around.
Yeah.
It's like she can't be alone. So, Virgil's pretty hurt by all this. She kisses Emmett at some point. That never comes back. But they find Zellweger.
It stays around, though.
Yeah. They find Zellweger later, and she's with these two guys, and she's like in her underwear and stuff. So Virgil kind of knows at that point that she's not going to be loyal to him or anything like that. But he wants to rescue her anyway. He rescues her. They do ultimately capture Briggs and get him back. But he's pardoned by Chester A. Arthur, the president at the time, which is kind of funny because I brought it up in Die Hard with a Vengeance. Chester A. Arthur is when they mention him because he's the school, and that's where Sam Jackson's kids go to school, and it's a whole thing, and Jeremy Irons is in it, of course.
Connecting.
Yeah. So, and there's no indication of time passage in this, but clearly time passes.
We should do a segment. Sorry.
Yeah.
Breaking off path here. We should do a segment where we connect movies throughout.
Like 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon?
Yeah, like throughout 20 years. A 20-year period. And connect actors.
You can do it.
In movies, we should
do
that.
We should do that sometime.
Hang on. Sure. We'll probably do that soon.
So time passes. Virgil is still with Renee Zellweger for some reason. Everett, they're still the marshal in town, but Briggs has gone straight at this point and owns the hotel in town now. And it's Briggs's hotel. But he's not good. Like, Virgil and Everett are not good with him. They're not happy about this. Right. And Virgil essentially tells him, you're going to slip up. I'm going to take you out. So that goes on for a while. And ultimately, Renee Zellweger kind of leaves Virgil and ends up with Briggs. And Everett, Everett's not having that. So Everett goes into the hotel that Briggs owns. Renee Zellweger's there. And he basically just slaps the shit out of Jeremy Irons in this and basically challenges him to a duel. He drops his marshal badge and puts a gun on the counter and tells Irons to get the gun and come outside.
Yeah.
He's done. Irons comes outside. Virgil's there, and Virgil's like, don't do this, Everett. I don't want you to do this. But they have a showdown. Everett takes him out, no problem. Vigo takes him out, no problem. Vigo gets on a horse, rides out of town. That's the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Jeremy Irons is dead. Virgil's there with Renee Zellweger. And Vigo kind of says, I did it for you.
Yeah, they all get shot up pretty good.
Yeah.
So
there's a whole gunfight and stuff in the middle where they get shot up where Jeremy Irons escapes and stuff.
Lance
Hendrickson gets killed. Yeah.
First shot, probably.
Yeah. I think he was the first shot that Virgil did. He killed Hendrickson first. But yeah. So that's Appaloosa. Kind of a general view of Appaloosa. It's not the greatest recap of it, but it's kind of it's a complicated movie, to be honest. There's a lot to that movie. A lot of time passes in it. But I think it's an excellent Western. I think it's an excellent modern Western. Very good. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like, I've seen this movie many times over.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a standard Western.
Like I said, I saw this in Tombstone. I've seen this in many other Westerns. It's all combined in one. And it's kind of, I hate to say, but generic version.
It is somewhat.
Yeah.
Except you have Ed Harris and Viggo Mortensen.
Ed Harris, Viggo Mortensen. Yeah, the cast is amazing.
It's a great cast.
Yeah. Other than that, the story is blah.
Yeah, it's generally okay.
Yeah.
It's a little slow at points,
and,
too.
the ending with all three of them, having breakfast together in a house, and they live happily ever after. It's kind of... That's a little different, but other than that, seen this movie plenty of times.
Yeah.
But it's still enjoyable.
It's a standard Western.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's a standard Western, but yeah, it's enjoyable. I mean, the cast makes it enjoyable. Mm. They take a pretty standard plot and kind of elevate it.
The line, just Ed Harris, he hasn't aged. He looks like he's
Yeah, he looks like he's like 70 for like the last 30 years.
Yeah, exactly. And just him being a badass, and basically we were talking about him. This is his audition for Westworld.
Oh yeah, most definitely. He looks like the Man in Black.
He's the Man in Black in this movie.
I think he's wearing the same damn hat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Vigo, and his amazing cuts.
The beautiful mustache.
The mustache and the
little goatee.
The flavor saver, and his little scarves that he likes to wear. That's a highlight for me.
Yeah,
is his scarves.
Excellent. Yeah, it is excellent. It's a really enjoyable movie.
There's a lot of elements of this that I like, but I mean the storyline as in itself is
pretty standard.
We've seen it.
Yeah, it's a standard Western storyline. And I think that's what they were going for.
Yeah.
To be honest, they just wanted to make a modern one of that, and they succeeded. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
still enjoyable.
Yeah. Music is pretty standard for Western movies. Yeah, pretty standard.
Yeah, nothing really stood out.
Nothing stands out.
The landscape is, good landscape.
American Southwest.
And then when they're in the town, I even told you, I was like, I think I spotted one of the, the tilt up concrete buildings
that's the old
in
West
the
town in Hollywood.
Yeah, beyond one of the sets.
Yeah, there was like a thanks in the credits for this ranch that they use. It's probably the ranch that everybody uses for that that kind of thing. But yeah, so I think it's an excellent movie. I think the cast elevates it. I think it's really good because of the cast. Ultimately, you want to go to rating?
Yeah, let's do rating.
Rate it.
All right, out of 5ers.
Yep.
I'll go. I'll go with 2.7.
Oh, you're really low.
Yeah.
That's pretty low. See, I'm at like a 4 on this one. I really love this.
I'll go 2.7.
But I think
I've seen it.
Yeah, I think I like westerns more than you too. Like I like a good western a little bit more. Even some like lower end westerns that come out these days. Like I didn't like the Magnificent Seven remake all that much because I thought it was unnecessary, but it was decent.
No,
but this one I really like. I really like this movie.
I like the original.
I thought we got to watch Seraphim Falls, which is another modern western, which Liam Neeson and Pierce Brosnan.
Oh yeah,
we're going to watch that.
I'm about westerns.
Yeah.
It's got to be something I haven't seen before.
Yeah. That's I understand that.
And I do remember this movie.
Yeah. It's a good one. It's worth watching for sure. Whether you're at a 2.7 or a 4 like me, it's worth watching.
Hey, if you meet in the middle, it's a good movie.
It's like a 3.5.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. All right, so that's Appaloosa, and that's the last movie we're reviewing tonight. If you want to, you can follow us on our podcast, Basement Movie Room, available in your podcast locations. You can follow us on YouTube at Basement Movie Room. And that's where you find us. Also on Twitter at movie_basement. Occasionally I post there, not very often. And maybe a Patreon coming soon, even though we ain't got that many subscribers, but we'll see what happens.
We could use some.
Yeah. So if this is your first time joining us, I appreciate it. I thank you for watching and listening. And if it's not, thanks for coming back. And we will see you next time on Basement Movie Room.
Till next time. Cheers.
Cheers.
On the vinegar scale, I would give this a 5 out of 5.
Oh, it's a top end vinegar scale. Thanks for watching. Try Havoc Energy, I believe, if I can read from here. And we will see you next time.